Billions to Trillions to Action, Mobilizing Finance for Development 2016 to 2030. The Business Model of MDBs, with Susan McAdams.
What are the multilateral development banks? The heart of the multilateral development system is a smart, efficient financial structure. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, now you know why we call it the World Bank, is owned by the governments of the world. They are our shareholders and they subscribe to our capital. It's a good deal for them because they pay in only a small fraction of that capital subscription. The rest of the capital is callable, meaning we can ask them for it, although only if we need it to pay out our bonds. It's the only purpose. On the basis of that capital, plus our ability to call the remaining capital if we really need it, plus strong and prudent financial management, IBRD has a AAA rating in the bond markets. What that really means is that we can borrow money at very low interest rates, and then we can pass on those low interest rates to our clients. IBRD was the first multilateral development bank, or MDB. It was established in 1944 alongside the International Monetary Fund. In 1956, the International Finance Corporation, or IFC, was created next to the World Bank to stimulate private investment in development countries, working not with governments like IBRD does, but directly with the private sector. This was followed by the establishment of the International Development Association, or IDA. IDA focuses on less developed, low-income countries. Because IDA works in the poorest countries, it offers grants and concessional loans. So we have a spectrum of finance across these institutions. IDA serves the poorest countries, and it offers the least expensive forms of financing. IBRD serves primarily middle-income developing countries, and it helps them invest in their major development needs by giving them loans and also advice and guidance and advisory services. IFC doesn't work directly with governments, although it also provides advisory services. It works in the private sector with loans and equity grants and other investments. This whole system is financed in different ways. Both IBRD and IFC use this capital structure from their shareholders, their government shareholders. IDA is financed by grant contributions from shareholders, as well as repayments that are now coming back in of its very long-term, inexpensive loans. The basic model, so a development bank, a private sector arm, and a low-income country bank, financier, has been picked up and replicated and improved upon over the decades as the regional development banks were established. So the European Investment Bank in 1958, the Inter-American Development Bank in 1959, and African and Asian development banks in the 60s. The model has been used in different ways for smaller regional banks, like in the Caribbean, for slightly different purpose banks, notably the Islamic Development Bank, which was established in 1975. And even we still have new regional MDBs, like the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which was established in 1991. The MDBs support countries in achieving their development goals by working on the ground and through financial support that we offer, that's the financing for development, technical assistance, and policy advice. This whole structure is a leverage approach. Central to our work is using our capital base to multiply the funds we are given several times over and then put them to use for development. We leverage, we multiply these development resources so that a dollar in, managed by MDBs, results in more than a dollar out for development. Not only that, more than a dollar out every single year once we're holding that dollar that's come in. It begins, the top of our pyramid, with the capital subscriptions, the official development assistant contributions, or ODA contributions and grants that we receive from shareholders. From this base, the MDBs issue bonds in the capital markets. We use the money we raise to provide financing for development to our clients. So having borrowed the money as bonds in the markets, we can then put grants and concessional loans, regular loans, we can make equity investments, we can make guarantees, put all of that out the door. These investments are in roads, they're in energy, they're in health systems, they're in education and agriculture and climate-smart technology and water and cities, everything that we do across the development spectrum. And they generate development results, outcomes on the ground. That's the point of the whole exercise. They also provide some returns back to us. The loans are repaid. And the amounts that we earn are used to increase our own equity and thus our own capacity. So the system increases as we succeed in getting these development outcomes. This financial leverage is significant. For each $1 invested in us by our shareholders, the MDBs can commit $2 to $5 in new financing to our clients every single year. In the private sector arms of the MDBs, and I note that the European Bank for Reconstruction Development is entirely a private sector focused MDB. For every $1 there that's invested directly in private sector operations, another $2 to $5 are mobilized in additional private investment. We lead the way and private investors follow. Overall, the MDBs manage to leverage and multiply their funding capacity through this capital, through the markets to clients approach, through the private sector, where we mobilize additional private sector spending, and also domestically with our client countries, where we provide advice on tax systems, on spending, that increases the development impact of every tax dollar that comes in and also increases the number of tax dollars coming in. So the whole model is one of leverage and multiplying and mobilizing resources across the development landscape for greater impact.